Hello everyone, Jericho with Inked.agenda here. I'm back for another video, and this time in voiceover mode. I didn't realize my mic wasn't recording for most of this video. I'm recording at my son's football practice, so if you hear any noise in the background, I apologize. Today I'm going to be showing you my currently inked fountain pens and the corresponding inks for the month of August 2026. I'll be doing my swatches with my Speedball B0 nib. I still don't have a lot of practice with this nib. It sometimes doesn't agree with me, but I'm going to do the best that I can. I also started to show you my glass dip pen, and then I realized, oh wait, I'm not using the glass dip pen because the pens are inked and I'll be writing with the pens. For this month, I went with a lot of bright, fun, summery colors. There's a couple of weeks left of summer break before I go back to work, and I really just wanted to play up on those fun, bright summer vibes. I also chose inks this month that I haven't put in a pen before because I wanted to play around and experiment and see how different inks behave before I start reusing ones that I've used before. So the first one I picked was Lami's Blue Black. It goes down this brighter blue, but as it dries a little bit darker, and it's more of a denim blue, I think. It's also a very wet writer. In my experience, both of the Lamy inks that I have are very wet writers, and I have it in a mini stub nib this month, so I wanted something that would flow pretty well so I get the real feel of the mini stub nib. The last ink I put in there was a bit of a drier ink, and it just didn't really work as well as I wanted it to. So I have this one inked in my Esterbrook SD with a mini stub nib, and this is the Nouveau Blue colorway. This is my newest SD, and I am obsessed. It is so beautiful. The resin has all those different shades of blue and the chatoyance of the cracked ice, and there's some brown shades in there. I love, love, love this pen, and it's been so fun writing with this mini stub nib. So that is Lami's Blue Black in my Esterbrook SD Nouveau Blue. Throughout this video, you're going to see me struggling with this B0 nib quite a bit. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but sometimes I just cannot get these things to lay down the ink in a nice aesthetic way like everybody else can. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I guess I'm going to have to practice more with them, which is just another excuse to keep playing with my inks. But the next ink that I have chosen is Ferris Wheel Press's Evermore Green. This is a really beautiful, kind of brighter, true green. It's got some really pretty shading as well. I have this inked in my Benu Pixie in Smoky Black. If you didn't know, the Pixie is Benu's pocket pen, and when you post it, it works itself out to like the feel of a full-size pen. So that's the Benu Pixie. I have it in a fine nib, and it is the Smoky Black colorway. And if you know anything about Benu, this is more of a subtle Benu. A lot of them are really bright and glittery. This one, it looks black, but when you look at it closer, it's got a little bit of a swirl and some glitter. So I really like this pen. I had to do a little playing with it when I first got it because my tines were misaligned. But now that that's fixed, it's a beautiful writer. It's got a nice, smooth, fine line with just a teensy bit of feedback. And with this green, it is absolutely gorgeous. The next ink that I've chosen for this month is Wearingeul's Undine. This is a newer release from Wearingeul, and it is stunning. It's this really beautiful chroma shader that's got this light teal color as the base color, but when it dries down, it's got some shades of pink and some shades of yellow. It is absolutely stunning. If you haven't given this one a try, I definitely recommend it. And it's also got a pretty average flow, I've found. I've got it inked in my Bahama Yellow Twisby Eco. I found this pen on the Instagram page Virtual Pen Show, where people can go and like sell some of their pens that they want to destash. So I got it in a medium nib because that's the only TWSBI size that I don't have yet besides extra fine, and I know I don't like those. And I chose to put that in a medium to show that pink and yellow shading in the ink. It is absolutely stunning. The next ink I'm using this month is one that I have been dying to get in a pen since I got it. It is Sailor Manyo Azuki. And if you know anything about the Sailor Manyo line, they are really gorgeous chroma shaders. So this one, the base color is a pink with some purple shading. It is so pretty. This is also my last non-shimmer ink for the month. So after this one, then I'll get into my shimmers. I have this inked in my Pilot Kakuno in the Mataromi pink. I don't know the technical name for this one. I just know it's the pink from the Mataromi series, and I have it in a medium nib, and I absolutely love the Pilot Kakuno nibs. The medium is a perfect size for me. It shows the ink properties really well, but it also writes so smoothly. If you haven't tried a Pilot Kakuno, you don't know what you're missing. I recently talked my sister into getting a couple, and she loves them. And they're very affordable. So if you're new to fountain pens and you want something that's going to write beautifully, definitely look into the Pilot Kakuno. This Mataromi series is so elegant and sophisticated looking, but it's still, a beginner friendly, affordable pen. Now I'm going to move into my shimmer inks. I'm obsessed with shimmer inks, so I've got 3 this month. The first one that I have inked up is Werengool's Emma, and it's this really soft pink with this kind of silvery, almost pearlescent shimmer. And when it dries, it's got this kind of light blue haloing. It's gorgeous, but it's a little bit dry. So I have it inked in my TWSBI Eco in the clear, and this one has a broad nib. And I'm finding that Emma works really beautifully in this broad nib. It goes down a little bit light, but when it dries, you can really see those properties. I find it relatively legible when it dries. It's just a little bit hard to read as it's laying down. So if that bothers you, that may not be the ink for you. But if you're into those lighter pinks and you've got some broad nibs you want to use to really show off that shimmer, definitely give it a try. It's this really pretty soft pink. It would be a really good spring color as well. It is just stunning and so, so shimmery. The next ink I'm using this month is Ferris Wheel Press's Mulberry Majesty. It's this deep, kind of grapey purple, but it's got like a rose gold, champagne colored shimmer to it that's really stunning in writing. I will say I've been using these inks for about a week or so now. This one has been quite dry. So if you're not a fan of dry inks, you may want to avoid this one. I even put it in a really juicy pen, and it's still been pretty dry. I put this in a Jinhao 9019, and this is the transparent black colorway. When I ordered it originally, it had a medium nib, but the medium nib I got was a dud. So I had a Jinhao X159 that the cap I had broken, and I just took the fine nib out of that and put it in this pen. They both took number 8 nibs, so I just swapped them around, and now it's writing just fine. The only problem is that this ink is so dry that it's having trouble coming out of this nib, even this gigantic number 8 nib. So just a word of caution, this may not be for you if you don't really like drier inks. It's beautiful when it does come out. It just has a hard time getting out of the pen onto the page because it is so dry. But I mean, the color and the shimmer is absolutely stunning. It's such a beautiful purple, and that really champagne shimmer warms it up just that tad bit more. It's gorgeous. And then the last ink I got this in a sample from my sister. My sister is also into fountain pens. She's the one who got me into fountain pens. And when we first really got into the hobby together, we decided to swap inks. So she gave me a bunch of samples, and this one is Ferris Wheel Press Gale Force Green. I don't know how much shimmer is really in my sample. It doesn't look very shimmery in writing, but this one has, I think it's a green shimmer in it, but it's kind of this gray-green base color. It's really pretty. I just don't think I got a whole lot of shimmer either in that sample or in my converter. I've inked this one in a Jinhao X159, and it has a fine nib. It's also a number 8 nib, so it's really juicy writer. The fine writes more like a medium. I really like using my more inexpensive pens for shimmers. Honestly, I am so scared to put a shimmer into one of my Esterbrookes because I'm a public school teacher. I don't have a huge budget. $200 is a lot to pay for a pen. So if I'm going to use a shimmer and it's going to potentially clog up a pen, I want it to be a pen that I'm not going to cry if the nib is broken. So the Jinhaos are perfect for that purpose. And these ones with the size 8 nib, I really love those. They tend to dry out a little bit, so what I do is I put a little bit of silicone grease on the cap threads, and that has solved all of that problem for me. So when I ink it up, just put a little silicone grease on there, and it's good. It doesn't dry out for the remainder of the month, in my experience. So I'm going to let these dry, and I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, so my swatches are mostly dry, so you'll be able to see the ink properties a little bit better. The only one that's not really dry is the Evermore Green. So the first ink that I used was Lami's Blue Black. It's really pretty denim blue. You can even see a little bit of a sheen right there where I'm pointing with the cap of my pen. And I've got this in my Esterbrook Esty Nouveau Blue with a mini stub nib. The next ink I used was Ferris Wheel Press's Evermore Green. Just a beautiful, dark, kind of foresty, true green. And I inked that in my Benu Pixie in Smoky Black with a fine nib. It's a little bit wet still, but you can kind of see the color there anyway. The next combination was Warrengoul's Undine, and I had that in my Bahama Yellow TWSBI Eco with a medium nib. I chose the Bahama Yellow TWSBI because of that yellow kind of halo you can see in the shading. There's the pink, and then there's a little bit of yellow behind it. So I wanted to play up on that kind of golden tone coming out. And then there was Sailor Manyo Azuki, this really pretty purpley pink that I inked in my Pilot Kakuno Madarumi Pink with a medium nib. And then moving on to my shimmer inks, I put Warrengoul's Emma in my TWSBI Eco in the clear demonstrator with a broad nib. This has been absolutely beautiful in this broad nib. And you can see some of the blue haloing in that swatch. This is just a gorgeous, gorgeous ink. Okay, let me adjust my frame a little bit around my tripod, and I'll be back. Alright, that's much better. And the next combination I had was Ferris Wheel Press's Mulberry Majesty in my Jinhao 9019 transparent black with a fine nib. Drier ink, but still not a terrible combination. And then finally, I had Ferris Wheel Press's Gale Force Green in my Jinhao X159 in the white ivory colorway. So those are my currently inked fountain pens and their corresponding inks for the month of August 2026. Thank you guys for coming along with me on this swatch session. If you liked this voiceover mode, be sure to let me know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.